So what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt, and you're watching Demo Reel. And yesterday, we premiered Dirty Laundry Day. And today, I'm sitting here with Jamil Lahham, the creator of that film. Jamil, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you for having me over.
No problem, no problem. Oh, now guys, if you haven't seen his film yet, leave now and go watch it. I'll put a link to it somewhere on this video, probably in the upper right-hand corner, because we're really going to get into it and, well, okay, spoiler warning, the same old thing. So, if you're still here at this point, we're going to get into it. So Jamil, what was your inspiration for this film?
The idea for the film came from a one-liner joke from George Carlin.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's one of, I don't know. I had it. It's not. I tried to look it up somewhere on the internet. He never really performed it, but it was on the back cover of his book.
Gotcha.
And the joke was, I put $1 in a change machine and nothing changed. And like immediately, I was like, if this is not a premise for a good short film, I don't know what is. So I just took it and I ran with it and I did the usual what if.
Got it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool. And I really like the art direction too. You know, would you say you had some influences in deciding that? Like, what was your thinking going into that aspect of it?
So in terms of art direction, I really wanted to work with a couple of artists, friends, that I admire their style.
Right.
And it just so happened, it's really hard to organize and work with friends when you're not necessarily paying them. That was my biggest drawback. Yeah. And so at some point, after we started, we had to kind of separate, go separate ways, and so I took on the job of figuring out the style, and it really came from the lack of knowledge of art direction in general. I'm not necessarily an illustrator or a painter in that way. So I just tried to work around my shortcomings and figure out how to make what I have in my head, how to turn that into a style of some sort. So it just really came from the lack of,
like, this is what you had, and
exactly,
go with it.
Exactly. That's what I can do. That's what I have in my head, and that's the best way I can put it out there, and that's how it came out.
Yeah, and I mean, personally, I thought it was a really cool art direction. Fit in very well with like the tone and subject matter of the film, and obviously with the very end part, you dedicated the film to everyone who was fighting for change in Syria. And
all over.
Well, all over. Right.
But it felt personal to me to mention that because during the production period, we were just bombarded by these photos and these images on from the news and whatnot. But it just so the audience know, the production started way before the event started in Syria. So I'm not trying to ride the wave there.
Right.
It happened before. The concept of change is really what filmmaking is all about. Really, if you think about it, you can go watch film to follow the change of the main character and see how they grow and whatnot. So the subject of change is a really interesting subject matter.
Right.
But yeah, I just needed to point that out. It wasn't necessarily driven or inspired by what happened. It just solidified my feelings towards my film and the subject matter that I picked. It's such a hard thing to do nowadays that people would have to die over it.
Exactly. And I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but were you maybe trying to give the audience a little bit of a call to action? Because like with the main character, he was just putting in $1 here and a change was being made. Right. You know, were you trying to make a statement about that, saying like, listen, it doesn't take much, or was I reading a little too much into that?
If that's what you got, it's great, because I'm against trying to beat over the head. A lot of people, when I showed it in film festivals, people are almost testy with their questions. Like, what did you mean by your film? Why did you have to, who killed them?
Right.
They were very testy about this stuff. Like, they were almost looking for a specific lesson or a specific lecture that I was like, as if I'm there to lecture them. It was just merely an observation. If you look around, those people who go out of their way to change something of some sort, they're usually not faced by open arms, right? They're always resisted.
Exactly.
They're always contrasted by a complete opposite direction, sometimes evil. And in so many events, they get killed.
Yeah.
And we have living examples nowadays. But that's awesome, the fact that you read that, because I'm never into this. This is my idea. This is what I'm trying to tell you, and I hope you understand my point of view. And I love that channel. Like, did you really mean this? Because this is what I got from it. And then boom, all of a sudden we have this conversation.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so, am I doing that intentionally? No, but I'm glad that everybody can watch this, and if they're into that kind of stuff, they'll probably try to read things into it. All I was trying to say is that, really simply, change is not free, is what the machine was saying.
Right.
Change will come, but at an expense.
Yeah, definitely.
Be it a life or be it $1. Change is not free.
Well, that's how you know something is good. It's like, oh, I thought it was this. I thought it was this. Wait, really? Why do you think? It gets you talking and everything.
Exactly. A material that makes you think. Exactly.
Definitely. And what was your favorite part of working on this film? Was there one particular aspect that you really enjoyed, that felt really fulfilling and satisfying?
Yeah, finishing it.
I can imagine that.
I mean, it's all a product of love, but it's really strange because every step of it is very painful. It's not even like an exaggeration. It's really painful to sit in front of your storyboards, and obviously with animation you start with storyboards first, and so you're in front of this blank paper and you're thinking about what is my next action, what is it I'm trying. So that part is painful. If you figure that part out, then perfect, then you have to move on to figuring out the style. Some artists bail out on you. It's like, oh great, now I have to figure out what to do with the visual development of it. And then that's another painful. But it's all like that joyous pain, or that really delicious pain, or like, ugh. All right,
you're just describing masochism, right?
That's practically what it is.
But no, it is.
Like for 5 years, and that's how long it took me to finish it. 5 years, I couldn't really enjoy a beer with friends without thinking in the back of my mind, like, I could be sitting on my computer finishing another shot or another problem.
Oh, I totally get that.
So it's really cool to see it out the door. I look back at it right now and I'm like, yeah, it was fun all throughout, but it was the painful fun.
Yeah. And I guess on the flip side of the original question, now you just listed a, pun not intended, laundry list of challenges and everything. What would you say was the greatest challenge in making this film?
Finding out how the finishing of the ending of your film. Coming up with a like using George Carlin's Joe and try to spin it to make it into a movie, to a film, to short film. All that is okay and it's doable, but actually reaching the conclusion, the logical conclusion of what you're trying to say, and have it really convince you. That there's when you're trying to write down your conclusion of your story, there's always these like, oh, I can make him do this, or it can end up like that, and there's like nah, it's like puking out words, like whatever, nothing really hooks you. But then there's that one moment when you find the actual conclusion to your film and you're like, oh my god, this is it. There's something inside. When you're invested in the beginning and the middle of your story so much, instinctively by heart, how exactly you want to end it, but you can't really find it. And that's the whole part where you're like brainstorming and trying to find the solution, and then once you land on it, you know what it is. When you're not 100%, when you're like, all right, you know what, I'm just gonna finish it this way and this is how it's going to be, we all know it's not really that sincere. But there's this one, there's always this one conclusion to your story that makes you go, this is it, and you feel it. And so that was it, coming to the conclusion that made me feel satisfied. I'm like, that's the greatest moment right there. Conclusions usually are the hardest. I feel like the endings, to make a satisfying ending, satisfying for you as a filmmaker before your audience, satisfying for you. I feel like that's the hardest part. At least to me.
I believe that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you can always give the audience what they want. I could have easily, and I was given that idea by many people. Well, why don't you have them like come to life still, like as if he's capturing his last breath and change the world.
Right.
I'm like, but that's not what I'm trying to say. That's not what the machine was saying.
Yeah.
That's probably, to me, is the most rewarding, is coming to that conclusion and make it feel, satisfying.
Yeah. That's really cool, man. I like that. And I guess maybe on the more technical, geeky side, what sort of like equipment, programs did you use to make it?
This guy right here, just that's my trusted computer and my Wacom tablet, and there's a traditional animation program called TV Paint.
Got it.
Actually, the program is the reason why I made the short. The program I was introduced to like a couple years back, probably 7-8 years back. I was on the tail end of my college, and so the whole time in the back of my head, I wanted to actually use that knowledge and that software into making something other than just a bouncing ball or whatever. I really wanted to put it to good use. And that's when the whole idea started. I'm like, I have this skill set, let me put it into some production. And it was supposed to be like way shorter, something way sweeter and way more mainstreamish. And then the more I got involved in it, and the more I got invested in it, the more I thought, that story is not mine. I need to go in that direction. It's funny. This is I guess there are no rules to making film. Some people have the idea, then they make it. Some people learn the skill, and then they want to, invest it into making a film. That's my case right there. I just want to do a traditional 2D short film. And I had learned that software, so I went with it.
Man, that's awesome, man. That sounds great. So Jamil, what's next for you? What's on the horizon?
Multiple things. I'm a CG animator during the day.
Got it.
And so I guess that's why I made my first film in traditional. I just wanted to step away from it. But now that I did that, I want to go back to CG, and I'm like investing in an idea that I've been thinking about for a while. It's a short film about a toddler, an unsupervised toddler who sneaks out of the house unsupervised to go to the state fair.
Cool.
That's the premise, really, in short.
If people wanted to follow your work, where would they go?
I think if you can just type in JamilLahham.com, the first thing you will get my address, my website, JamilLahham.com, and then in there you can find links to my blog, to my handle, to my Twitter handle. I usually post a lot of rants and a lot of angry tweets sometimes. So some people probably will.
As one does.
As one does. Isn't that what Twitter is for?
Pretty much. Let's be real. Oh man. Well, listen, Jamil, that's all I have, man. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you very much. And I really appreciate, and I like what I saw on your channel. It's really great.
I appreciate that.
Keep up the great work, man.
I appreciate it.
Awesome.
And you all, thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope you liked our discussion. If you want to follow more of Jamil's work, I'm going to put his website and everything he just mentioned down in the description below. And of course, if you haven't watched it yet, well, you didn't listen to my warning, but I'll put a link to it again somewhere on this video. So, until next time guys, you're watching Demo Reel.